Okay, so on the channel that I have started here on around May 4th, started uploading videos. Along the way, I've met a few people. On the screen is Roger Holloway. He is a fantastic real estate agent in Charlotte. And he reached out to me one day, and we just started talking. Roger has his own YouTube channel with close to 14,000 subscribers. And I'm going to have that link to his channel below. I think he does a great job. So he's kind of turned into a friend and mentor at this point. And we were talking just yesterday, and I asked him, I said, Roger.
I wouldn't say I've kind of turned into a friend.
Okay.
We have become friends. You know where friendship begins?
Where?
Friendship begins when you say, oh, you too? I thought I was the only one.
Okay, well, there you go, man. There you go. We found out also that we both have radio roots. Him in Indy, I think you said.
Yes,
And
Indianapolis.
Roger and I were going to maybe work together based on what he was seeing on the videos. And he learned a few things from some of the things that I shared, and that was the goal. And I was forthright with Roger saying I wanted to do this for 180 days straight to see if I could trick the algorithms. And,
first of all, it's kind of like in the spiritual realm. You don't try to trick the algorithm. In the spiritual realm, you say, don't lie to the Holy Ghost.
Okay.
It doesn't work well.
All right. And so I'm not lying with these marketing tips, but I may be lying to myself about the reason I'm doing this whole thing. How's that?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's working because pretty early on, I found you. YouTube algorithm. And by the way, I don't know, you can just call me Al if you want to know about my go rhythm. But my go rhythm, you see my drums back here.
Right.
You can just call me Al, go rhythm. But
yes.
In other words, Google decided that you'd be a good fit. You'd be a blessing to me. And so you showed up and I thought, I like this guy. I mean, he's likable, he's smart, and I think he's got something that could help me. So that's kind of where it picked up. In fact, it wasn't within 24 hours, I think, that I reached out to you and said, hey, and you were responsive. Yeah, that was on a weekend, and you were responsive real quick. How can I help? So that was the beginning of our friendship.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And I'm a believer too, just like you, and I'm not ashamed to say that into a camera.
Nice.
Very much so.
Now, I've got a great story about that.
Okay, go for it.
So I was a pastor of a church in Indianapolis, and after my radio days, and there was a piece of land. It's actually probably one of the nicest parcels of land in Indianapolis. And I would drive by it, and it's like the Holy Ghost nagged me a little bit. You need land for your church. Reach out to this owner. So I reached out to the owner, whose office was right across the street. He's a billionaire. In fact, there's an art museum in Indianapolis that he basically founded. He was a billionaire, and he's gone now. And so I reached out with a letter, and they said, oh, no, the land's not for sale. I said, well, could I meet him? And so he entertained me, and he liked me. And as it turned out, he said, the land's not for sale. He went from that to, I'll sell it to you for $12,000 an acre. I said, that's really a great price, thank you. But could you finance it for 8%? Could you carry the paper? He said, no, I could carry the paper for 5%. So long story short, we went on, and we ended up with the land. The last $143,000 of our debt, he forgave that. It was really beautiful. But during that course of time, I kept sharing Christ with him, the billionaire. I shared Christ with him. And when I did, he'd shake his hand. He'd throw me out of his office with a handshake. Thank you for coming. So this went on. I'd see him every so often. One day he said, my son's coming into town, and I'd like you to meet him. I said, okay, great. So I went to that meeting, and his son, right off the bat, says, are you one of those crazy Christians?
Right.
Now I'm at an impasse. Do I blow my relationship with the billionaire and lie?
Yeah.
Or do I honor God like Peter didn't, denied him 3 times? And so when I said, yes, I'm one of those crazy Christians, he said, me too. Hey, brother.
Nice.
So I passed the test, earthly and heavenly, I think.
Yeah, right. Very nice. Back to, how'd you get into your YouTube channel? Let's do that, because we're talking about marketing. You have said many times that you think everybody should have a YouTube channel, and you've had yours for how long now? 12 years?
Correct.
10? Okay, 12 years. So how'd you get into it? I mean, I know you're a real estate agent. You were a pastor.
Well, I got back into the industry. I started real estate in 2002. And then there was a little problem around 2008, so I was out for a while. But when I moved to Charlotte about 14 years ago, I was looking for what to do. I had a lot of little bucket list things I tried. And then the market was starting to heat up, so I got back into real estate here in Charlotte. And my wife, who had a career in anesthesia, when she saw me studying for the real estate exam in North Carolina, she's like, I could never do that. In other words, it's hard. And then I got my South Carolina license. So I got my license. It's like, well, where are the people I'm talking to? I mean, where are the customers? Well, you have to generate people to talk to.
Leads.
So, I've always had a microphone in my hand and a camera. My dad was a professional photographer. He taught me photography. My first TV commercial I did when I was about 16. And so, long story, I've always had a camera in my hand and been in front of a mic. So when I got back into real estate, it just sort of made sense. Hey, try it on YouTube. So I went to see who was doing it. Not many people were doing it. Nobody was doing it well. So I just started. And I thought, this is a good place for me. Now, my wife, again, at that point told me later, I think you're crazy. She was right about that part. But it's like Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. B, says, everybody thinks you're crazy until you're successful.
Right, right.
Then you're a genius.
But you are successful with your channel. And is the primary driver to share knowledge, or is it a lead mechanism, or what's the driver?
Yeah.
Leads.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, to leads. But as you know, more than anybody, as a marketing professional, if you educate, if you answer questions, if you give information, then people will either not like you or they like you, know, like, and trust. So
Right.
if they get to know you, the key is to get them to fall into your rabbit hole. And
Right.
I'll say that occasionally. And you can tell when somebody calls. First of all, the same voice on the videos is the one that answers the phone.
Right.
Because he who answers his phone wins.
Right.
So it's the same voice, and they're surprised that it's me and not, a virtual assistant or something. So that's kind of the way it works. I'm not sure if I answered the question, but
Yeah, I think you did. I mean, basically, it was you started it for leads, and so you needed leads, and so transitioning now into the marketing. So you said something in our offline conversation yesterday. You said, because we were both agreeing, it's hard to trust people in this business. Who do you trust? I think is how you phrased it.
yeah. Well, you had asked me the question about hiring somebody to help you, and that was initially my discussion with you. Hey, what services does Max offer that I could pay for, and how much do you charge, and what do you do? And I was honestly blown away by your knowledge, and even about very simple things like your Google business profile, and how messed up mine was after all these years. I was priding myself that, I've got 4.9 stars out of 5, and I've got 50 some reviews, and I thought, well, that's pretty good, but that's just the tip of the iceberg on the GBP.
Right.
And there's an interesting story. I think you'll appreciate this. I didn't even do reviews until I showed up one day. Some guy gave me a 1-star review, and he didn't even hire me. He hadn't hired me. I'd never met him.
Yeah.
But I talked to him, to his wife as a prospect, or to his daughter-in-law or something, and they didn't like the information I gave them. And so there's my dog. Arr, arr, arr. I got a real estate dog. They didn't like the information, so this guy just threw on a 1-star review with no text, just nothing. I thought, okay, well, I got to figure this out right away. So I did my research. I crafted a really, I think, a good response to him, and mentioned that, by the way, you never hired me, so 1 star, okay. But I crafted a really good response, and then I set myself to get a bunch of reviews to even out a 1-star. Now I'm at 4.9 because all the rest of them were 5-star reviews. So,
right. And just another little tidbit of something that I have gleaned from all of because I'm constantly reading and trying to follow the people who I know are movers and shakers. And even Google themselves puts out a lot of great information if you want to wade through it. But 4.2 to 4.8 is the sweet spot. Obviously, no one's going to discount a 4.9, but you want to be 4.2 to 4.8. I have a manufacturing client who here in Central Florida, they had a 2.9 and very few reviews. And the owner, who's also a believer, by the way, he said that we really haven't paid attention to that. I said, well, you really need to. You really need to. And so now we've gotten that up to a 4.4, which is they've seen the momentum, and then we maximize their Google business profile. And the thing about, before I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this, but the thing about the Google business profile that you touched on is...
First of all, time out.
Yeah.
Back to me.
Okay.
You're brilliant on that.
Oh,
you are like brilliant on that.
Not really.
You've helped me on that, man, big time. Thank you.
Well, yeah, no problem. Thank you, Roger, for all the value you bring, buddy. But no, it's what I want to say about the Google business profile is people's understanding is like yours. And there's some people that aren't even doing what you're doing, which is answering the reviews. And some people don't even have the right address on the. It's just astonishing to me because, you know, we talk about websites. You and I've talked about a website before, and websites are still very important. There's no question. But with generative AI, GBP, that is so important. It's so important.
Here's my notes from our first chat. And one of the things that you mentioned, you just alluded to, NAP.
Yeah,
have
NAP.
those consistent.
Yeah, NAP.
Name,
NAP has to be
address,
consistent.
right? Yeah.
Name, address, phone number. Correct. It has to be. You have to have that right. And there's a lot of listing services. You know, Yext is probably the most well-known, YEXT, Yext. And they'll do it for you for different tiers. We sell Yext to our clients too. If you have a bricks and mortar location, first of all, you got to provide them with that information based on the official United States Post Office address. That's what you want that to be based on. And that needs to match your GBP, needs to match your website. And people don't even understand sometimes that, for instance, you're on North Peoria Road, so to speak, and in one of your listings it says N, and the next one says North. That's different, especially to a bot, not to a human. A human understands it, but to a bot it is. And so everything has to be the same. Everything has to be the same.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant advice. And some of the more simple things are often overlooked.
Google business profile, to loop back into that, I think that is so incredibly important because we were talking about websites. And with websites, they are important. And there's a lot of different things on a website. Like you can build the most beautiful website, but it's like putting a digital billboard in the desert. If it's not hooked up to everything, you know.
I used to sell advertising for Angie's List in Indianapolis. And I'd tell my market was Austin, Texas. And I said, now you might have the best candy store in town, but if your candy store is out in the middle of a cornfield, you ain't selling too much candy.
Right. Well, with the point that I'm trying to make with the website is it's all changing. So if you're seeing these generative AI overlays, and Google's doing it right now in some markets, they're not showing a list of websites. So people that are focused solely on SEO.
You're saying, is that called the AI overview?
Overview, correct.
Okay,
yeah,
because honestly, and you did one of your great videos, man. I love your videos.
Thank you.
I like it because you're real. You're yourself. But you were talking about AEO and GEO, and then you said something like
EIO. Yeah. Well, the thing is with AEO, answer engine optimization, that's for like the GPTs and stuff. So, you know, roofer near me, you're going to be the answer instead of in a list. Okay. That's answer engine optimization. And GEO is something different even from that. It's all based on an SEO foundation. So SEO is still really important, but even more important than your website is your GBP, your Google business profile.
Now, by the way, just to, again, a salient point that I've heard you say on one of your videos is that don't abandon SEO because these the AI guys are scraping the websites to get their information.
Yeah, absolutely. And your Google business profile. And a hack that I gave you for the web guy that you called, we went in and cleaned up your GBP yesterday and or the day before. And the hack that I told you is, and this works. I haven't even done it myself for a few of my clients, but I'm going to, is to have one of your services inside of your Google business profile be the exact same as a page on your website. Okay. Because you're telling Google, it's like, look, I'm saying this is a service, and by the way, here's the page with the same name.
On a page that's titled the same as one of my services in my Google business profile, would it be helpful? Obviously, some good, rich text there, but it would be helpful to have a video in that embedded to speak to the same thing or not?
Some people would have an obvious answer of yes, but it's also how that video is viewed, because the bot's not going to watch the video. So how you explain what the video is and what it's about to the bot that's crawling is going to be the best play there.
All right. So what if we took the transcript and put that in there with some other text, and then with a link to the video on my YouTube channel? Is that good or not?
I saw somebody talk about that, and I think that sounds fantastic. Look, if it's fresh, relevant content, you know this. I mean, we studied your market there in Charlotte. You've got some heavy hitters there, and you go to their website, one of your top competitors there that's always in the local Pack 3, I mean, they do a good job. They really do a good job with their website and with their content. But a couple of other ones, I don't know how they're even in the Pack 3 other than they've been there for a long time. That's the only thing, because there's no relevant content on their website.
You taught me that again about the Pack 3. I've never heard that. I mean, we see them, but that's, again, one of the things you bring to the table. Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
In your years of experience in marketing, what has been your biggest frustration about some of these tips that you give to some of your clients? Do they put them into practice or not?
Nice segue, radio guy. They don't, and I'm experiencing that right now, because there's a part of me. I'm on this journey of 180 videos, in a row. So
that's brilliant, though, by the way.
Maybe, or I'm finding out a lot about myself. I'm finding out a lot about some of the answers that I've been searching for are kind of brewing to the top. And October 30 is the last day. I'm going to say hi, Roger, on that day in the whatever video I do that particular day. But yeah, I'm having a problem. So I'm questioning myself, and I have been for several months now. I've said goodbye to a few clients who actually I like them. I like all my clients. They're all good people. But it gets to a point where, for me, it's like, look, you're hiring me to do my job. I'm asking you to do these things. You're not doing these things, but you're coming back to me and holding me accountable. So what's that?
What's an example of that?
One example would be just in photos alone. Okay, just photos alone. So let's say it's a service-based business, and they are putting photos in of, like, say, before and after. So let's just say it's a roof, before and after a roof. Well, getting the after photos is a pain for them. But take it a step further. Anything you're putting online right now, you shouldn't be focused, in my opinion, on going viral. You should be focused on your backyard, your community, if you're a business. So that means photos of you and people from your community, or, landmarks from your community. Yeah. That's going to make the most difference. And the videos, why do people not have, you do, of course, on your YouTube channel's proof, but why do people not have themselves in videos with customers? I will never understand that. And some people just, this is a good example. With one of my clients a year and a half ago, the owner said, all right, you need videos? We're going to put out a contest, and we're going to give whoever has the most videos in 30 days, we're going to give them $500 or whatever it was. And so, which was a nice carrot to dangle. They had, at the end of that month, they had 17 videos. How many do you think they had the very next month?
3.
0.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, that's the problem.
So that's like David Mamet's classic line in Glengarry Glen Ross. We're having a sales contest. The first prize is a Cadillac.
Right.
The second prize is a set of steak knives.
knives.
The third prize is you're fired.
Yeah, right. And so that's the problem I have. But the point I was trying to make is, I want, as the marketing person, I want to be able to have something that passes the who gives a you-know-what test. I really do. And if we're just constantly posting before and after photos, and sometimes not even after photos, just photos, then The only thing we're getting out of that, because I do believe that with every social media post, no matter where it's at, you should point back to your URL, to your domain, your website. And I do know that that helps. It might be a little micro doses.
Wait, say that one more time. Make that statement again.
So let's say you have a business Facebook page, and let's say that in your case as a realtor, 55 plus active community, new construction, let's just say that you say, well, in the caption, you explain what you're doing. You're standing in front of a new house, or maybe you're not in it at all, and just the picture of the new house and the description. I think you always need to have your website in that description.
Okay.
With hashtags. I've heard different things on hashtags too. I've heard that you shouldn't put more than 3. One person said you should put no more than 9. So it depends on who you want to listen to, but I think hashtags are important as well.
Hey, I want to just say something to you that you helped me again on, along what you were just speaking about. I'm redoing a website and looking at SEO differently these days, and have somebody helping me. The thought there that you gave me was, I'm going to go around to some of the restaurants and local businesses that I buy from or eat at and say, hey, I'd like to do a video of you, John Doe, talking about your restaurant, and I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel.
Hello?
In exchange for a backlink from your website to mine.
Hello?
That was your idea, right?
Because those local backlinks, like I just redid a website for one of my legacy client, probably my biggest client, okay? And I have 2 subcontractors that I had help with. I laid it out, and then I just found out not too long ago that they skipped H1 tags on 30 pages. How do you do that? So those are the types of things that keep me up at night. It's like, I'm assuming they're done.
That's a header 1 tag.
Right. It's like,
Not to be confused with a header 2 tag or a header 3.
Correct. But you can't do stuff like that, man.
So I fell in love with your services, but decided that my budget would be, so I took my budget, what I was willing to spend every month, and I've never really hired anybody to do SEO. Maybe that's why your view count is a lot higher than mine. I did just hire somebody this week, though, to optimize 10 videos. But it's just in terms of my website, they're building a website and going to do SEO month to month. So it may be that after a few months, I come back to you and I'm saying, okay, yes.
Yeah. Well, let me level set some comments real quick before we jump off here. Number one, I don't operate by myself. Okay, that's number one. Number 2, SEO. I'm going to make a video about that. The next video, actually after this one, I'm going to make a video about when people talk about we'll do SEO for you. Boy, that's like an overarching, like it's a tent, and it doesn't really lock in with anyone. No one really truly knows what they're paying for. Okay,
right.
And so I'm gonna get into that just a little bit. But as far as my fee,
well, first of all, you opened my eyes to that. Again, the first meeting I had, I took a bunch of notes, and you opened my eyes to so much that I was a little bit better prepared to shop around, because who do you trust? Who do you trust? I get email all the time from certain countries overseas that your YouTube channel is terrible. Let me fix it. Let me fix it. Let me fix it. And it's like, I don't know who to trust. So at some point, I took some stuff I learned from you and started shopping around to fit my budget, is the answer to your question. But I may be back to you and say, you were right and I was wrong.
Well, and here's the thing too, and probably I've created my own problem when I give somebody, like, if I say, hey, my retainer is $3,000 a month plus ad spend, plus your cost. Like you were going, whoa, wow, what are you doing for that? You
should have heard what my wife said. She goes,
well,
he wants to charge you what?
Here's the thing. So I could say, I'm not doing websites anymore for people. Because that was a game where you could $100, $150 or whatever.
150 a month, right?
Yeah, and 150 a month, or outright for like $3,000. WordPress website, here it is. Well, then those same people is like, well, hey, can you change this? No, that's part of the monthly fee. Well, what about hosting? Well, that's part of the monthly fee. Well, this part's not working. Wait a second, you said it was okay. So I'm getting out of that part completely. And what I did for my fee was for people who were doing I was handling all marketing, not just digital marketing. So that would be their outdoor campaigns, their radio, their TV, if they were doing that, all of their digital, everything that their connected TV, everything, all of their stuff, their signage.
And that's obviously a low price for the comprehensive nature that you're offering.
When people look at it from that and they say, well, that's still too much. It's like, well, define too much. Do you know how to negotiate? Here's an example. This is just an example this will go way back, like 15 years ago. So this particular company wanted to advertise during American Idol. And at the time, that was the hottest show on television, far and away, American Idol. So that was when had Randy Jackson, Paula Abdul, and Simon Cowell. So in this particular market, a 30-second spot on television, and I know television's changed dramatically, viewership is down from 15 years ago, but stay with me. So they wanted $1,500 for a 30-second spot. And this particular client's like, well, we can't afford that.
That's just in one market, their local market.
Yeah, one market. Yeah, national, it was in the millions. So, but I mean, yeah, for that one, they wanted to be on during American Idol. And I said, well, it's $1,500. No, we're not paying that. It's like, well, then you're not going to be on it. And then I thought about it. And then I called my TV rep. Max it out, man. Think about it in creative ways. I said, you know this from being in the radio business. I go, hey, how much do you get for those legal IDs? And they said, oh, they're $17. I go, perfect. I'd like to buy all day Thursday and all day Friday for the next 2 months.
And what are they called again? What are they called?
Legal IDs.
What's a legal ID?
You should know that as a radio guy, but you were a music director, right? So
I was on the air, but it's been a while,
you could say WLUP Chicago.
Oh, I see. Yeah, at the top of the hour. Yeah.
That's the legal ID.
That's right.
Radio stations and TV stations still have to do that. Okay, it's part of their
rules. But you would say presented by ABC Roofer.
It would just say, in this particular case.
Let me hear do it in your radio voice.
Hang on a sec. My client was there. My client was there before Ryan Seacrest came on with their logo for 5 seconds. And then here comes Ryan Seacrest. And guess how much it cost them? $17.
Beautiful.
Okay. So, I mean, and then they got all the rest of them. I had them throw in all the overnight ones for free as added value. So what I'm saying is those are the types of things that you could sit here and try to explain to somebody with an 8-second attention span, but they're not going to get it. Right. So then when they push back on a $3,000 fee, it's like, okay, handle all of that yourself. Right. Handle it all yourself.
I can pull my own teeth.
Yeah, right.
So, rather hire a professional. Can I tell you a quick story? When I was pastor, I was on radio and TV back then for the church, but there was a firm that offered a really high production quality video that churches could buy for their local market, which we did. And that didn't cost that much, maybe, I don't know, $1,000, let's say. So we raised maybe $5,000 or $10,000 in the church. Hey, we're getting ready to do a campaign. We're going to put this spot out there. And it was back when 90210 was popular. It was a video of a guy combing his hair, close up, dressed up. And then they pull out, and he's sitting in a casket. And at the end of the 30 seconds, he plops down in the casket. The casket door shuts, and it says, before you get all dressed up, find out where you're going from your friends at such and such church who care where you're going. In other words, it was just in your face, guys at a casket. It just brought you to the point of, hey, man, as Sleepy John Estes said, you better get your business right. The little black train might be here tonight.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And that was so worth spending that money, man. I mean, the local newspaper wrote an article about us doing that. It was cool.
Yeah. Which is good.
We maxed it out, Max.
All of those things together take time, but they also take knowledge.
Right.
And there's a couple of my clients that were spending big money on, let's say, a cable television campaign, more than they were paying me. And where I would come in and I'd say, well, how many leads you get from that? And they'd pull numbers out of their backside because they don't really know. A lot of people don't track it. They just chirp. They don't really know where they're getting their leads from sometimes. And so, being able to track it exactly. Right. And I'm a big fan of a CRM. There's some people that don't use CRMs the right way too. They use it as a Rolodex. What's that?
Which one do you like?
Well, I mean, Salesforce is the creme de la creme, but I use high level, We offer high level to people
And
too.
you, as an agency, you can get a high level, and have all your clients plugged into your account, right?
We can, yeah. We give people, their own sub account for $97, a month if they want it. But and then there's a setup fee. But my point with that is all of these things take time. And like you said, well, hey, I'm going to work within my budget for this piece of it. I get that. I totally understand that. But I don't want to, at my age and at this stage in my career, I don't want to do piecework anymore.
Right.
Because sometimes, you know how this is too in your business. Sometimes what you end up doing is you're doing piecework. Let's say you're charging somebody $150 a month or $500, but they're constantly calling you, or constantly. It's like, whoa. Wait a second. My time is way more valuable than that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And different than what you and I, because you're kind of a mentor for me, so I appreciate that.
Oh, wow.
But that's kind of where I'm at. So this marketing minute, whatever I'm doing here on YouTube, has been
39
really
minutes.
helpful.
39 minutes.
Yeah. So, well, no, I'm talking about the channel. It's been really helpful to kind of, because I'm thinking about just doing my own leads for my own company. Another quick story with an insurance company that I started working for, and that's how I got into insurance, and my wife did. This is on Meta. We got the lead cost down to less than $2 per lead. Okay, wow. That's somebody filling out a form. All right, they're spending probably $3,000 a month, but we got on Meta, but we got that lead cost down to under $2.
Wow.
Okay, and one of the owners, who's an awesome guy, but one of the owners said, he goes, those leads aren't worth much, and he goes, we need some more of these leads that they were paying $300 for from another company that they had worked with, and I didn't. But that's how people view things. They view things that way. Somebody filled out a form and gave you their email, their phone number for $2, okay? And you got 1,000 of those, but yet you'd rather go for the ones that are 130, and you're not basing it on data. You're just thinking that in your mind, the $130 one is worth more. It's a higher quality.
I can kind of relate to that on one level, because from the YouTube videos, they know, like, and trust you. When I get a call from those, to me, those are often very good leads, because they know, like, and trust me. But among real estate agents, there are a lot of lead generation machines that get leads that are mostly regarded as not very good leads, similar to that one you're saying. So on one level, I can relate to that. But the question is, are you willing to pay? Two questions: are you willing to pay for the $300 per lead, and or if you get the name, address lead, are you willing to work those leads? And I think that's what you've been frustrated with. I think you said something to me the other day to the effect of, people are not willing to work those leads and generate them in a funnel.
You've got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes at the top 15. And then beyond that, as the absolute bare minimum safety net, 1 hour. So I will never understand people, whether they're paying $130 or $2 for a lead.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what you just said about the 5 minutes. Explain that.
To call somebody back. Okay. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Right.
I mean, and that's irrefutable proof from the Harvard Business School. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and you get these business owners. I've had them myself. They're friends and they've been clients for years, but they want to push back on that and they get defensive. It's like, no. If you're going to advertise and you don't get back to somebody in 5 minutes,
we call that speed to lead, right?
Called speed to lead, man. And it's real. And it's real. And the people who treat it like it's real, they can take the $2 lead and have, a 30% closing ratio on the $2 lead. They can't, because someone gave you their name, address, and phone number.
When you're driving down the road and you see a billboard that looks like a brochure, so answer this brilliantly. What's the max amount of words for a billboard?
I'd say 7 to 12.
Okay, I was going to say 5 to 7, but isn't that amazing? If people that are watching this start looking at billboards, and with that in mind, that if it's more than 7 words or so, 12, it's worthless.
Let's say 7. Okay, 7's fine. Yeah. What is it? Is it a call to action? Is it an image? I mean, what are you using the billboard for? Brand awareness? Yeah. What are you using it for? And
you like billboards?
Yeah, I actually do. Actually, I like bus boards better in markets that do bus boards. I work with a company that does bus boards, and And I have, for one of my clients, it's completely synonymous with their brand now. The buses, they think there's 1,000. There's only 2. There's like, they think this company has, because they change their routes every day.
Yeah.
And it's a bus. It's a bus. So it's the size of a billboard, but it's going down the road. So you can't, I love bus boards.
Now, are you saying the side of a bus, or are you talking about
No, I wrap the
pickup
whole
with
thing.
a trailer with a
No,
really
we
tall-
wrap the whole thing. We wrap the whole bus, the entire bus.
You wrap the whole bus. But I mean, I've seen trailers that have a sign on them, like a big billboard, but it's just, they just drive around just for the advertisement. That's not what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I mean, I think, I think we could find, if we wanted to, I'm ready to wrap up too. I know you got to go, but I think we could find, no matter what advertising you have, I think you could build a case for anything. I really do. I think it's all spokes in a wheel.
Yeah.
Some of it's just better than others, and it's all how you set it up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your friendship, and you've helped me immensely.
Good.
So much, and so much appreciated. So,
All right. Well,
right,
right
man.
back at you. Right back at you. Thank you. And it'd be great if the whole world could just kind of help each other.
well, there you go. Then there's that.
Yeah.
Good deal, man.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Roger.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you. Bye.
Bye-bye.